Dating in America is brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source.
The Gold and Diamond Source has been in business for nearly 4 decades and is one of the largest family-owned jewelry stores in America.
We have the largest selection of white and fancy colored diamonds and gemstones you'll find anywhere.
We also have private areas for VIP viewings.
Only at the Gold and Diamond Source.
Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited. We are on the record.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarina Fazan and it is Friday. You know what that means. We're talking about love and we're talking about dating, my favorite topics. And today, a very special show, Single Struggles. Let me introduce my guest. We have Scott May here, single for 12 years now.
Yes.
Elizabeth Flock, single for 9. And Scott Thomas May, single for 2. Yes, Scott May. Scott Thomas May, the first time in the show that we have a father and son teen duo. And what did Elizabeth say? You're the cream in the middle, like an
I'm
Oreo.
the cream in the middle of the Oreo.
Right.
Well, ladies first, let's start with you. We're very anxious to hear from the father and son as well. But Elizabeth, share a little bit about yourself. You've been single, as we mentioned, for almost a decade now.
Yeah.
Did that sound bad? Like almost.
No, and when you think about it, you're like, wow, is there something wrong with me? But no, that's not it. I'm single for 9 years. I have 4 kids. So, that's probably part of it. My little dude was 1 when I separated from their dad. So I've been kind of in the nitty-gritty of raising children. It hasn't stopped me from dating, but it's definitely been a little challenging here and there.
And so your baby is 10,
Yeah.
and your eldest is what, 20?
Yeah, she's about to be 20.
Girl, you look fantastic.
Oh, I appreciate you.
Did
Thank you.
Did the boys not even say that too? She
No,
looks
we did.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Whatever she's drinking, I want to drink.
Okay, Scott, so let's go to you. And I didn't mean to say that about 10 years being. I am not. You have to love yourself,
I do.
That's
right.
But 12 years for you. And okay, so Scott, what's your deal?
Well, their mom left when they were small, probably 5 and 4, so I pretty much raised them. And I think we got divorced like 5 or 6 years later, but I've been pretty much on my own, concentrating on my kids for the most part.
Taking care of me.
Yeah, listen, I have to share,
Thank you.
before we go to Scott Thomas May, I have to share, so I'm talking to Scott because we are doing an on-the-record show about a very serious topic, medical insurance, going through the, oh my gosh, we're not even getting into it, on the record. And so then he said, you know what, Serene, do you think that maybe, though, you can get my son on your dating show? He is so great. He is so great. It worked. And we got you on here. He's like, he's so great. He's single. He's great looking, so smart, which I would like to say on the record, Scott Thomas, you certainly are.
Thank you.
So 2 years now.
Yeah, 2 years.
Okay, so what's the story?
I dated a girl, 2 years ago. It just didn't really work out exactly the way I wanted it to. So, I don't know. It was good for a while, but
it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, then we'll start with you on this question, because the title of the show, again, are Single Struggles. What is the biggest struggle right now, being single?
I'd say maybe where to meet the person, I guess. Where to meet the right person. I think that's probably the biggest struggle. Just with working and stuff, we work at home, so I'm not around a lot of people. So I would say, where to meet the right person. I've tried dating apps and stuff like that, but those do not seem to work out very well.
Dating by referral. You need friends to refer you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like business.
I have, yeah. I've been on a couple dates, but just hasn't worked out exactly the way I want it to, so.
So for you, it's like, and especially then for you, you would prefer organically meeting somebody.
Yes.
As you said, Elizabeth, right? So.
For sure.
So you, Elizabeth, expand on that, and what has been your struggle?
Let's see.
Where do I begin, Serene? Where do I begin?
I know. I feel like, how much time do we have? Struggle is, I would say, expectations and communication are probably the biggest, right? Once you've been married and you go back into the dating world, you know what it's like to be in that final phase of what that dating looks like. And I was married and dated really young, so we grew up together. So when I got into my mid 30s and I had to start dating, it was completely foreign because it wasn't like what it was when I was 19.
Yeah.
And then I had these expectations that someone was going to show up and be accountable and be communicative and, you know what I'm saying, and present. And that was kind of a struggle, you know, for a while.
How long were you married?
I think 13 years. We were together for like 17 years.
Yeah, no, that's a long time.
We started dating in college, so.
Would you say also, because we were talking about it earlier before the show began, but the blending of families, would you say is like a...
Really challenging. Really challenging. And I think that that's where you really have to figure out what your core values are, and then, you know, make sure that that person is truly in alignment with your core values. The rest of the stuff you can kind of like compromise and shift with, but like core values, like how you're raising your kids, you know, how you're disciplining your kids, I mean, religion, how you spend your money. I mean, like, you kind of have to have some of those conversations because those are deal breaker conversations, right? And you don't want to like waste time with someone if that's not going to blend well.
Right. And Scott Thomas and Scott May, you shook your head the whole time. So you weigh in on your single struggle.
I think the thing the longer you're single, you get set in your ways, and you don't want to change. So you start dating somebody. And they say, hey, what are you doing Thursday night? Well, I'm playing softball, or I always go to the gym at this time, or I'm out of town playing softball on the weekend. And they want you to put them first, and you're used to doing your own thing. So it's kind of hard.
You have to be ready.
I mean, that's been my biggest struggle, is I get set in my ways. I play travel softball, so I'm gone at least 2 weekends out of the month. And they don't like that, you know, and it looks like I'm putting it first, but I've been doing that for 45 years, and I don't want to take it away. So, I mean, that's been the biggest problem I've had, is not putting them first, probably.
And Scott Thomas, so you're like shaking your head, right?
I agree.
He knows.
Would you like to see your dad date, though? I mean, you know, I know like maybe there were a lot of sacrifices, but at this point in your life, again, share how old you are. You're 25?
25, yeah.
25, you're going to be 26 next month.
Yep.
At 25 years old, would you like to see your dad with somebody?
Yeah, I mean, whatever makes him happy, honestly. If that's what he wants, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So what is it like, though, like a father, like...
He meets them all that I've dated.
And do you guys talk about, like, do you guys...
We talk about everything. We talk about everything.
Oh my gosh, I talk about everything with my mom too. I mean, not everything.
Right.
Like 90% of things.
Yeah.
She knows all the things. And I'm like, listen, I need you to be my best friend right now.
Yeah, it's
important.
important.
Do not judge me and mother me. And she's like, okay, you might need vodka, Mom.
Is your mom single, too?
Oh, no, my mom's happily married.
Happily married. It's been married for a long time.
Yeah.
All right.
My stepdad's a saint.
You know, one thing I was going to say that you find out, like, I'm 66, so it doesn't...
Fantastic.
Yeah, you do. They're not
fabulous.
I'm going to send you a check in the mail. No, but you know what happens is it doesn't matter if you've been married more than once or how many you've dated. At this point, you feel like you failed because if you're not with anybody, if you've been in 10 relationships or 100, they haven't worked. So now what do? Do you try it again? Do you keep trying again? Do you keep trying again? You know, somewhere down, you know, you've been beat up so much, you just feel like, hey, I'm better off by myself.
Well, okay, so, Scott, when you hear your dad say that, and you know, you're so young, right? Your life is just beginning. How does that make you feel about love?
It's hard because I personally want to find the right person and be with one person if I can, you know, in the future. Get married, you know, and have kids and stuff. And I mean, you know, that it didn't work out is a little scary, you know, but I mean, it doesn't discourage me, you know.
Well, honestly, I mean, Elizabeth, don't you think that's a relief to hear that it does not discourage you? Because
Well, I always say you have to be like hope springs eternal. Like you just you have to be hopeful. Like there was one time where I had like started talking to a gentleman, and I always give people like 90 days to show me they're crazy. Right?
Yeah.
It's real talk.
So when did you decide on the 90-day thing?
Okay, so real talk. I started writing a book a few years ago, and I need to finish it. It's called The List.
The list.
And the list is really important. Like, I'm a big woman of prayer and manifestation, so like I write down what I want, right? Because someone was like, well, what do you want? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And so I wrote down like what I would want for like a future husband or partner. There's been multiple iterations of this list over the last like 9 years because I've grown and changed and realized that like I need very specific things from my partner. So my list is kind of long, but it's very detailed. And I focus on that. And it's kind of the governing body that doesn't allow me to go down like a rabbit hole just because like, oh, this guy has like 12 items that I like really like.
Yeah.
But Elizabeth, you have 25, so you really need to stay focused, because if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. So like, don't get distracted by the shiny object. Stay focused, right? So I always said I give people 90 days to show me they're crazy, because I saw a pattern when you get to know someone. Like, there's like the first 30 days, it's all like, oh my God, this is so exciting.
This is great.
Oh my God.
That's how it always is, yeah. In the beginning.
And then like the next 30 days, it gets a little real, because you've been on the phone and you're texting and you've completely thrown your whole schedule out of whack. So you're kind of like, okay, listen, we got to regroup. Like, I'm too old to be tired and on the phone till like 11:30 or midnight. Like, I'm going to be in bed by 10, you know? The dark circles are starting to form.
That is true.
You miss the gym, or you know what I'm saying? You rearrange your schedule. So you're like, okay, the next 30 days, you're like, okay, it's got to get a little real now. Well,
Back to
they
reality.
don't have you the way they have had you. So that's a true test if they're okay with not being a little needy. Like, you both are now, they've been at your beck and call, and so you're kind of like, I got to back it up a little bit. Well, then the last 30 days of this 90-day window, something will inevitably happen, good, bad, or ugly, and you'll go, that's a total red flag. Like, you'll go out and you'll drink. Maybe you have a few extra, and he just does something, and you're like, oh no. Yeah. That's not going to happen. We're not doing that. Or you confidently talk about, like, I have a lot of guy best friends. I always have, and they're just my best friends. Like, that's it. The buck stops there. But if a man isn't like really secure, he'll get really intimidated by like my story, and then you'll see that jealousy or that like insecurity, and I'm like, yeah, so you can't be with me if you're a little bit insecure.
But let me ask you this, and I'm going to turn the question to the boys, all right? Because I have many male friends, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Right. But I have many male friends who say you cannot really truly be friends with a woman. That there's always okay, all right, okay. Take it from there.
Yeah, I think that if you're friends with a woman, then somebody's attracted to someone in the situation, I feel like, at one point. Maybe you're friends now, but in the beginning, either the woman or the man was thinking, wow, this person, is beautiful or whatever. There was some type of attraction. That's what I think.
It's so interesting, the male's perspective, though, because honestly,
that's very true.
Yeah. So how about you, Scout? What do you think?
In what case?
In the same case, like, can men and women be friends?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't think.
But do you think that there was an attraction between one of you before?
Possibly. To me, trust is everything. You got to trust that person. And like your case, if you've got friends, then oh well, you've got to accept that.
Well,
I don't think you should control anybody.
No.
That's huge to me.
I've always said, like, look, if you're really worried, I'll make an introduction. You guys can be friends too.
Yeah. I love that.
Like, and most of my guy friends I do business with too, and so like some of them are married, and like I give them advice about women because they just, I'm like, what did you do to make her mad? And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's on you. We need to talk about that. Like, so I give them advice, and like we do business together. Like we're I connect really easily with people, so it's kind of a part of who I am. So I always say, like, if you're really intimidated by the person, I'd be more than happy to introduce you to them. You guys can be friends and go golfing. Do business together. I don't really care. I have nothing to hide, right? Like, here I am.
Right.
Like, I'm not concealing it. I'm being very open about it.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah.
Is to let that person know, communication.
Gives security, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're going to go to a break. But before we go to the break, here's the question I'm going to ask after the break, so I want you to think about it. I want you to think during this single struggle, right? I want you guys to share, like, your worst date. How about that? Okay? Oh, how's that for a tease? They're all shaking their head.
Are we serving vodka on this show?
I wish we were. We need to move it from noon to 5. Or isn't it 5 o'clock somewhere?
It totally is.
Stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back.
Thinking about getting engaged, planning to upgrade your wedding ring, or finally getting that Rolex?
The Golden Diamond Source can help you in many ways.
You can start a layaway plan for only 10% down and 6 monthly payments.
Take advantage of our 3 to 5 year interest-free financing.
Or you can trade in your old broken jewelry and use it towards a new purchase.
Come to the Golden Diamond Source and find that perfect gift for the ones that you love.
Gems with Them is our way to teach you about the birthstones, anniversary stones, and what these various gemstones represent. Emerald is a rich, enchanting green and May's birthstone and the 35th anniversary stone. emeralds are one of the most treasured gemstones and bring a sense of clarity, renewal, and rejuvenation. Its verdant and glossy glow makes them perfect for this time of year. To learn more about gemstones, come in and see our wonderful selection for yourself or visit us online at goldendiamond.com.
Back, guys, and we're, even in the commercial break, they can't stop talking because it's so fun. They're like, oh my gosh. So, okay, we're back. Either worst date or worst moment. Let's start with you, Scott.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was terrible, but, on dating apps again, I actually matched with someone and I met up with the person and they didn't look much like what they look like in their pictures. So that was pretty, it wasn't terrible. I continued to go on the date. I didn't dash out or anything, but didn't look like the pictures really. So
okay, so before we move on to Elizabeth, because you and I were talking, I need to do a whole show on filters and so on and so forth about not looking what you look like. I'm actually because I'm so afraid this one's gonna be like, really, is that you? But okay, so when you say did not look like the date, give us a percentage, 10% not looking like the picture, 20, 30, 40.
30.
Wow.
30.
30.
She bragged about her looks kind of, and she did look very pretty in her pictures. But then when I saw her, she was still pretty, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same.
She oversold it.
But she oversold it.
Yeah.
But you still recognized her. You could tell that it was her.
Oh, for sure. That's why I said it wasn't super bad. But it wasn't, like the pictures. And that's what a lot of people do my age on social media, dating apps. They take the best picture possible, like you said, with the lighting and everything, So, I prefer meeting somebody organically, like you said. So what they look like, obviously, you're in person. And then, the way they think, and you get that connection, meeting them in person. So the dating apps, I think, are all for me.
Not for you. Okay. So Elizabeth, how about you? Either worst date or a moment that you would like to share?
Yes. So mine was kind of similar. Met this gentleman and invited me to go to a hockey game. I was like, sure, that's great.
And that's such a nice date. I mean, taking you to a very nice sporting event.
Right. I love sporting events.
Yeah.
So this is, nothing too intimate and personal. So.
I'm wearing our lightning colors right now, as you see.
Awesome.
Yes, our show is actually, international. Some people, but I'm a huge Tampa fan, and we are shooting in Florida. So anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's great.
To throw it in for the Volts.
And so he met me kind of outside of the arena, and his pictures that I had seen, was very pulled together, and I was like, oh, he's got a great fashion sense. And then he came, and I was like, oh, and his shoes were terrible. And I know that sounds really awful, but women really care about shoes.
Oh, they do, yeah.
Really, and I'm big on the color of your denim. I'm very particular. Jeans to me are everything.
The color of the denim.
So I think darker jeans are more slimming. They look a little bit more dressy. So I don't know. So I just have this expectation of this, visual, whatever. And it was just not what I had envisioned. So I was like, everything's fine. We're gonna do this because that's what you do. You do it.
Right, you do it.
And then it was just awkward. I don't know why, but there was just this weird energy, and so I kind of had to fake it till I made it till the end of the games. We had great seats.
That's what I hate.
So I was kept trying to oh, that was great. Oh, they're fighting. Totally distracting from having real conversation because I just felt okay. And so honestly, from that moment, I just was okay, I'm not gonna let people set me up. I'm just gonna let it happen. If I run into somebody or if I meet somebody and it just kind of organically occurs, then I'll go with it for 90 days.
For 90 days.
That's hilarious.
So Scott, how about you?
I'm in trouble now. But it's funny, when I was young, it was probably even my first date that somebody set me up with, but I met in a group, and I sat next to this girl, and I talked to her, and we went the whole time, and about an hour later, I started to realize, I said, where's my date? but it was the girl that was next to me the whole time, and I didn't know. Man, was she mad. I didn't know. I don't know why I didn't know, but and I finally, where's my date? And I'm right here. And God, was she mad. I just never forget that. I was young, but.
So you were talking to the other girl you were talking to
no, it was just a group of us. I don't know why. I just didn't know that was the girl. I don't know what it was. I sat there and I talked to her, and then I finally said, hey, where's the date y'all are setting me up with? And it was her. I mean, I was like 18 years old. And on the other thing, on a short version, too, I was going to say, it seems like, too, when you break up with somebody and it didn't work and you were in love with that person, and they set you up on a blind date, and that's what happened to me on one. And man, it was nothing what I expected. I mean, it's like you want to get out of there. You don't even want to spend 1 minute. Why can't you meet somebody you really want to be with after you just got out of a bad relationship? And it never works. It's always somebody you don't want to be with her. That's happened to me too. So.
But could that be timing though? Like
I'm sure
because
it
your
is.
heart is not ready, right?
Yeah, it is. It's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's just
But a lot
not
of
there.
people try to do that, though.
Oh yeah, they can't wait.
Fill the
Some
void.
people can't
Yeah,
wait.
exactly.
Instead of heal the wound.
Right.
Yep.
Oh,
You
fill the
do
void rather than-
You have to
right.
heal. You definitely
Yeah.
have to heal.
You do have to heal, but you know, a friend of mine said to me sometimes, even though the timing is not right, if it's the right person,
Yeah.
I don't
They
know
can
what
get you through that
that can
Yeah.
too.
time.
I don't, but it was interesting that he said that actually because some people do feel like, right, it has to be the right time.
Timing's
for both.
everything.
Timing's everything.
Yes.
And if you really think about it, like the stars really do need to align in that scenario.
Right.
Because we're all juggling so many things,
Right.
even the youngest one here.
Well, sometimes I think like people are sent to you to remind you again of like what, if you know what you want, right? And you're on the phone, you're talking to your friends or you're talking to each other about like this breakup or whatever. And you're like, I just want to find a woman that's blah, 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 blah. But you just put that out.
Right, the manifestation girl.
Like
here.
you're putting it out into the universe and like, so something or someone is hearing you, right? And it's your heart, it's your true intentions. So like when it comes down to it, sometimes tests will come in the form of people, and it's to test you to see like if you're really committed to what you really want or you just want to fill that space and time. And so sometimes it's okay to fill space and time. It's okay, but you have to be honest with yourself that you're just filling space and time.
You're just filling space.
And don't like latch onto that and say, okay, I'm going to settle for this because this is where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Right? And you
Yeah.
realize that like that person might just be transitioning through to get you like to a better place where that next person who's supposed to be in your life will fulfill your needs.
I think you brought up a really good point though too about the manifestation because some people are like, oh God, I don't really believe in that, or I don't believe in like the angels are looking out for us. But what you said about manifestation and just putting what you want out there to you never know, like you're right, your friends, right? Like, oh gosh, well I remember when Elizabeth said that. I just met this guy, through another mutual friend or my attorney or my whatever, and that is a great way to manifest.
What also, it keeps you, like, someone said to me once, again, they were like, what is it that you want? I think this might have been my therapist, right? I've been through so much therapy. I love therapy. I wish I could afford it every day. Like, on standby, like, girl, I need you. I'm having a moment. I need 5.
I think it's good.
But she'd be like, that's $150. I'm like,
That was expensive.
Right.
kids, we're not eating today. But I think she said, what do you want? And I was like, I want a guy who's like successful and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, no, like, what do you really want? And I did not know. And she goes, you cannot go out into the world and seek something if you don't really know what you're seeking, because everything is going to come at you and you're not going to have clear-cut defined boundaries of what you really want, so you'll accept everything.
That's true.
And I was like, oh, okay. So I had to really sit and really write that down and then go, okay, so like the top 10 things on my list are deal breakers. Yeah. Like, I'm old school, right? Texting is great, but pick up the phone and call me.
Oh,
call me on
See,
the
that's
phone.
different.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, you young people don't talk on the
about
phone.
that. Talk about that.
I want just a text back. Like, you don't even have to call me.
It's a phone.
And I
know what
I
those were
don't think
invented
it's
for?
good. I don't think it's good because with work, with our insurance business, we're on the phone. You communicate with the person. That's how you build trust. But if it's somebody that I know, I've been seeing, let's say, and we're texting now, And, you know, people get busy and stuff, so they may not text you throughout the day, but I expect something, you know. It doesn't even have to be every day, but a little bit of communication, you know. And then the texting, too, like you always say, is you never know what the person's really saying.
Right, things can get so misconstrued and
This is where emojis are crucial.
Yes, that's true.
I say that all the time. I'm like, if you're going to text me something, but I know you're sarcastic, I'm either going to read it one way or the other. So you have to. I'm very like big on communication. You need to lay it out and spell it out.
Well, you're in marketing.
I need to know if this is like, are we being sarcastic? Or are we being serious?
Right.
Send me emojis. Send me a Giphy. Like, I need to understand tonality. Because like the comma matters kind of thing.
Yeah.
It can go bad if not. It could go
100%.
You know,
And
either
if someone's in their feelings that day, right, and you're texting, but you're busy, so you're short, and they're feeling emotional, it's going to go whoosh, and then that person's going to be like, you were so rude to me. And you're like, I was just really busy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then they're going in this whole spiral of things. And so that's, I think if you're going to text, it's got to be real clear cut and dry. That's why I'm like, pick up the phone and call me. I know then I can sense what kind of mood you're in, or I can understand where you're at today, and then it helps me to better understand how I'm going to communicate with you all day. You know?
Well, were you going to say?
I was going to say, people, they'll even break up with you texting. You know, they're going to hide behind that phone. I'm serious.
I know.
I mean, I know it's hard, but you should at least meet that person. Listen, it's not working, but to text somebody, or the other thing that's even worse is ghosting somebody. I think that's the worst. I'd rather you cuss me out, but don't ghost me. Don't disappear and never hear from them again.
Absolutely.
That I really don't like.
Very unhonorable.
Yeah.
I think
that's my generation.
That's your generation. You know, so we had my my intern who actually now has a job, Janae Jefferson. We hired her, so congratulations on that. But she was on the show, I know, and she the same thing. And I'm like, texting and ghosting is okay, and it's your generation.
Yeah. And
you might not have done. That's what makes it so hard for young people.
You know, and you might not have done anything wrong. Everything seemed fine in person or whatever, and then all of a sudden, gone.
You know what? You need to date older women.
I think you might be right, honestly.
You know, on that note, we're gonna
needs to be your new
how
bracket.
about it? Because we're already out of time. Encore show. What do you guys think?
Let's do it.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to invite them back. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Dating in America. Remember, if you have any type of story that you want us to share, send us an email. Send us an email, love story, a community story. We love it. Please share the story on I'm on multiple platforms, so you can share the story. And we're also on Roku with some other big announcements coming. Really appreciate you having you. Scott Thomas May, first father and son, and Elizabeth, the cream between the guys.
I won the lottery today.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. I won the lottery. Stay safe, everybody.
Emerald is a rich, enchanting green May's birthstone and the 35th anniversary stone. Emeralds have always been one of the most treasured gemstones and bring a sense of clarity, renewal, and rejuvenation. Come see our wonderful selection or visit us online at goldendiamond.com.